And we're back for another episode. In this episode, we're going to be doing the level 88 tank role quest in Final Fantasy XIV. And as always, hello from Mithrie. What's up? So, we are here in Gridania at the Adder's Nest, and we need to talk to the Keeper of Entwined Serpents. The quest is called A Pact Proven. The Keeper of the Entwined Serpents has good news to share. Mithrie, the Elder Cid here has grown strong enough to receive visitors. Come, we must go to the Stillglade Fane at once. Okay, let's go to the Stillglade Fane. Okay, we made it. She's better then. Oh, the seat's here. It fills my heart with joy to see you in better health. I am gladdened by your presence as well, my friend. And lest you wonder, know that the conjurers found no trace of the poison in my humours. If you are ready, I would resume our search for Glyphnir. They may be up to the task, but you are not. It is one thing to engage in conversation, quite another to be gallivanting about the Trollswood hunting a blasphemy. I am aware you are a conjurer of surpassing skill, and will not presume to gainsay your judgment, but have my wounds not healed? Those visible to the naked eye, perhaps. I worry that the strain of your communion with the Great One has taken a toll on you in ways we may struggle to perceive. The Great One is a being of the purest aether, and you were exposed to its unbridled despair, its raw terror. There may be consequences. I'm aware of that, but Glyphnir must be stopped. Until the blasphemy is laid low, people will continue to die. How am I to carry out my duties cloistered here? How am I to deliver the forest and its people from this despair? 'Tis your duties that demand you remain. I understand your frustration, but if you were to fall in battle, if your guiding light you bear were to fade, then all Gridania would be lost. Rest, Kani. Rest and gather your strength, and that when the time comes, you are fit to do what must be done. In the meantime, trust in your allies. As in, wait for the level 90 quest. You're right. That said, I see no reason I cannot join in planning our next step. As you said before, conversation is quite unlike gallivanting about on a hunt. Our encounter with Glyphnir has made it plain that we cannot hope to triumph over it as we are. Only with the Great One's power can we achieve victory. When the Seventh Humble Calamity was nigh, the Great One committed a portion of its boundless strength to extend a barrier over heaven and earth, the Ermin Hedge. Thus, the Trolls was spared the worst. If we could convince it to again lend us even a small measure of that power, we would not fear the poison. Therefore, I believe we should pour our efforts into placating the elementals, that we might earn their favor. You must make your voice heard then, yes? We must show that we are not the enemy. The quieting worked before, it may again. Indeed, we must find a way to assure the Great One of our good intentions, to remind it that we labor not for its destruction, but its salvation. I think, too, that we must gain a greater understanding of what drives Glyphnir. It seems to bear a resentment towards the elementals, the Great One in particular. Why? I have pondered this question myself. Lingering memories of the person Glyphnir once was may be responsible. Reports from Redderhand suggest that it is likely the case, in fact. If we could but ascertain the original identity of the blasphemy, but where are we even to begin our investigation? You were granted a vision of Glyphnir's past, and I was there, then? Then I may know who he is, or was. As do I, the boy who trained alongside Kani in her youth. Iasora Sipit. After all these years, is this what became of him? You mentioned him briefly before. Were you close? Isora was Pajali like me, but he never had known his parents and devoted himself wholly to his studies. He embraced the role the forest had bestowed upon him, and truth be told, was a much better student than I ever was. A fair assessment. Despite your esteemed heritage, you never took to my lessons as well as he, ever dreaming of the outside world. Stealing off into the woods more times than I can count, I could not keep watch over you at all hours, not even if I tried. The older Tizia, a rebellious spirit? I can scarce imagine it. I resented being a Pajal. It was inconceivable to me that I could not live amongst the others, and I did not scruple to express my misgivings to Isamiyan at every opportunity. Isora was a pillar of constant support. It was thanks to his encouragement that I at last embraced my destiny and resolved to use my gifts for the greater good. The greater good. We would become seed seers together, I believed, until one fateful day when we were gathering herbs in the forest at Usumiyan's behest. We met a wanderer hailing from a distant land who told us his beloved was with child, and that he travelled to Gridania to beseech the Great One for a painless birth. He asked us to guide him to the guardian tree. However, entry into such sacred places was not ours to permit, and there was something odd about his demeanour besides. With regret, I refused him out. But Isora was loath to turn away a goodly stranger in need. He agreed to guide the man despite my protest. I ran to Isamiyan as fast as I could, and together we made haste to the guardian tree. We found the man motionless on the ground, having succumbed to the Great One's rage, and next to him was Isora, alive but unconscious. In time he recovered and related the whole story. In truth, the man had been an adventurer, a seeker of wealth and glory, and as he had knelt to make the false supplications, he lunged forward to treat a branch from the guardian tree. He was yet a child, and Isora had no inkling of the darkness that could dwell within men's hearts. He learned the lesson that day, but the price he paid for it was great indeed. The Great One stripped Isora of his horns, and with them the right to call himself a Pajal. I was forced to expel him from the Fane. I never saw him again, nor heard a word of what had become of him. Though not for lacking of trying, despite his hardships, did he remain in the Twellswood all this time? I wonder. He dreamed of naught else but becoming a seed seer, of a life in service to the people of the forest. He knew the weight of the responsibilities and was eager to bear it. But he was deprived of that purpose by the very elementals he loved, and yet he did not lose that will to serve. I suspect, and instead resolved to watch over the Twellswood in his own way. I shudder to think what could have hastened his transformation into Gleipnir, as if his life was not harsh enough. In our final conversation, Isora confided in me that he would search for a means to calm the Great One's rage and earn absolution. To that end, he said that he would seek the counsel of the Mughals. They have called the 12th Word home for far longer than we have, and so none are more like to have knowledge of its most hidden workings. That comes as no surprise. He would not give up so easily on his dream. Even if Mughals know naught of Isora, they may have been able to help us in other ways. Will you travel to the Bramble Patch in my stead, Mithrie? I have faith that they will accept you with their characteristic aplomb. Alright, so we need to go visit the Mughals, which we haven't done in quite a while. So, let's go. Okay, so we caught up with the Mughals. So, quite a peculiar face you have, Kupo. Familiar too. You wouldn't be the self-same warrior who gave the legendary Mughals guard what for, would you? Mithrie, was it? Aha. It is an honor to meet you. Allow me to thank you personally for bringing that silliness to an end. Pukwa Pika's the name. What brings you to our next of the Twellswood? Why, what a pleasant coincidence. We were just discussing how we ought to go about calming the elementals. That blasphemy with the dreadful horns has got them on edge, and for good reason. I've had to ask my personal guard here to sleep with one eye open. In case you haven't noticed, the beast's corruption has been spreading all throughout the woods. Needless to say that we've all got to stand up and put the Twellswood to rights. Raya O suggested that the Mughals contribute by scouring the forest for even the smallest sign of taint. Got to cleanse it before it gets out of hand, you know? Difficult and time-consuming work, but if it's in service to the forest, then we'll do it gladly. I know you. You're the adventurer who gave me some of my finest scars. Coop the Mongols guards. No hard feelings about the whole hail to the king Kupo bit, I hope. Not going to call for a rematch either, in case you're worried about that. Rio and the others cured us of the tempering, and afterwards sat us down for a stern lecture. No more calling upon good King Moggle the 12th for us. May he ever remain unsummoned in his royal grace and splendor. Indeed, and what better way to make up for the past indiscretions than to serve the realm? Even now, our kin scour every elm of the Twellswood, and we would be remiss not to do our part. We would be overjoyed to have a hero such as you helping us as well. If you're willing, something tells me that you have a sharp eye for the taint we seek to cleanse. Can we count on you? Your reputation for magnanimity is well deserved. Let's begin by moving to higher ground, that we may survey the area and locate any particularly nasty spots of blight. Alrighty. Okay, let's catch up with them. Okay, we caught up with this guy, but he's actually flying. Let's see if we can talk to him from the flying mount. So, oh, you were able to make your way up here after all. I was worried that you'd be stuck. Apologies for leaving you behind, but it's so easy to forget that your lack of wings. Now then, where is it? There, to the south. Let us cleanse the festering taint at once. Alright, let's catch up with him. Okay, we've made it, so let's examine this corrupted soil. Okay, that's one elemental done. Alright. make sure there wasn't anything else. That was some fine work. I dare say that it's even better shape than it was before. The others are doubtless filtering about, stamping out corruption wherever it rears its hideous head. If I were the Great One, I would be applauding our efforts. Well, insofar as such, as being without hands can clap, I suppose. How goes the taint cleansing? I did what I could, but I swear, as soon as I finished with one area, 2 more start manifesting a fresh taint. The forest's ability to heal itself is waning, and this sickness is spreading too fast for even a legion of Muggles to manage. If we don't come up with a better solution soon, the situation is more grave than we imagined. Oh, what do we do? We should maintain our efforts to purify the forest regardless, but since there are only so many of us, we must also help the forest to remember how to help itself. Brilliant idea, I think. How do we go about doing that? Well, I was just getting to that part. I've got it. We perform the friending. The friending? What in the name of good King Mogomog the 12th, may he shower us with love and compassion and goopernauts, is that? Truth be told, I couldn't remember the ancient rite's name, so I just made something up on the spot. But let's forget about that for now and move on to the stuff I do remember. It's an old ceremony, first performed when the nation of Gridania was but a spark of an idea of a random thought in the founders' heads. They knew that if we were to establish a home within the Twelveswood, that they would first have to entreat the elementals for permission. So a mage in their company found and cleansed a few sources of foul aether, planting samplings in their place, and consecrated the soil with a prayer, to show the forest the purity of their intentions. The elementals were so taken with this display that not only did they permit his people to settle within the forest, they also bestowed upon him their blessings as proof of their new covenant. I remember now. The Gridanians still honor the agreements to this day. For every tree that is cut down, a sapling is planted. So, if we follow history's example, we can soothe the forest's pain and also nourish it with new life. That's right. Oh, but I wasn't finished with the story. Remember the mage who planted those sacred saplings? He was none other than Jorin, sire of Ohok Pota, the very first Pajal. From that day forward, the elementals would bless a select few Hures with horns, favouring them with their fellowship. The Pajal were exalted by the peoples of the Twelvewoods. Even we Muggles look upon them with awe. That's how it all began. Something wrong then. You have a strange look on your face. Glyfnir may be a Pajal, a former Pajal at least. Oh, how dreadful. But what exactly are you saying? So the man you think may have become Glyfnir was a Pajal, stripped of his blessing, and the blasphemy kills with a poison that manifests symptoms that resemble those of the creeping death. I feel sorry for this Isora. To love the elementals only to be shunned by them, to be surrounded by the beauty of the Twelveswood and know that he was forever an outsider, all for a child's mistake. That despair could easily have caused him to turn, And this poison that preys upon those who bear the Twelveswood's blessing, the Heures, just like the Creeping Death once did, might be another manifestation of despair. That would explain the elemental's unease. We must redouble our efforts to plant saplings, or they might never speak to us again. Indeed. Well, first things first, we must gather as many saplings as we can. Mithrie, wait for us at the Adder's Nest and make ready for a long and back-breaking day. Yay. Alright, let's go to the Adder's Nest. Okay, we made it back to the Adder's Nest. So, welcome back, Mithrie. Did the Mughals have any insight into our problems? A reenactment of the ceremony which laid the foundation of Gridania, a fitting plan given the gravity of the threat our nation now faces. As ever, there is much work to be done before we can even begin. While the Mughals gather saplings, we shall continue to scour the Twelveswood for new beasts that must be purged. Let us pray that the Elder Setia regains her strength quickly as well. But now, take a rest, my friend. It's a rare indulgence these days, and one that you've earned 1,000 times over. Cool. Alright. So, anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me, and goodbye from Mithrie. Bye, guys.